Using the midpoint formula to calculate price elasticity of demand. Another way to calculate the price elasticity of demand in by using midpoint formula is formula. Average percentage change of price and quantity demand are used instead of simple percentage change in price and quantity demand as is discussed earlier. The midpoint formula generates the same result regardless of the direction of change between the 2 points. Midpoint formula to calculate price elasticity of demands. Okay, the degrees of responsive in price elasticity of demand. The degree of price elasticity of demand refers to the varying consumer reaction to demands. To a change in price, the degree of elasticity of demand helps in defining the shape and slope of demand. Therefore, the price elasticity of demand can be determined by the slope of demand curve. There are 5 shapes of demand curve. First, vertical demand curve. Second, stepper slope of demand curve. Third, rectangular hyperbola demand curve. Flatter slope of demand curve, and last but not least, horizontal demand curve. There's 5 price elasticity along demand curve. First is perfectly unresponsive. Second, not very responsive. 1-to-1 responsiveness. Fourth, relative responsive, and last, perfectly responsive. There are 5 shapes. Price elasticity of demands along the linear demand curve. Elasticity varies because first, as the price of the good increase, consumer will replace their relative expensive good with cheaper goods. Hence, the more related the substitutes, the more elastic the demand. As the whichever up the demand curve. Second, as price rise, it accounts for a large proportion of the income. Hence, elasticity will tend to increase. Price elasticity of demand and its effect on total revenue. The relation between the price elasticity of demand and firm total revenue is important since the total revenue can be maximized by knowing the price elasticity of demand. This also helps the firm management when making pricing decisions for its product. Total revenue of a firm equal the price change multiplied by the quantity sold. The revenue equal total consumer expenditure as whatever it received from the consumer by the firm are equal to the spending of consumer on goods and services. Therefore, the price elasticity of demand on total spending is exactly the same as the effect on total revenue.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zalarif. So for the next, my part is cross price elasticity of demand. So for the second question is when the price of good X is 27 ringgit, the quantity demand of good Y is 102,000 units. When the price of good X falls to 23 ringgit, the price of good Y unchanged, the quantity demand of good Y falls to 800 units. So for I1, using the cross elasticity of demand formula, calculate the cross elasticity of demand for good Y. Show all your workings. 2i. Is good Y a substitute of or complement to good X? Explain your choice. This is the question for 2.1. There's a example of formula given that EX divided equal to QA2 minus QA1 divided by QA1 multiplied by PB1 divided by PB2 minus PB1. That's my calculation, which is 600 minus 1200 divided by 102,000 multiplied by 37 ringgit divided by 23 ringgit minus 27 ringgit. So get the answer get the answer equal to negative 0.5 multiply negative 0.05, and the last answer get 3.36. And lastly, that's an example of positive cross elasticity of graph that I get. And for the lastly, this is the answer for question number 2.2, which is my answer. It is good because positive cross elasticity good X and Y are substitute goods. However, price of good X increased from 23 ringgit to 27 ringgit, while quantity demand of Y also increased from 600 to 1200. So for the dust product, X and Y are viewed as being substitutes.
My name is Rifki Dini, and now I will talk about income elasticity of demand. So for question number 1 is inferior product have a negative income elasticity of demand. This is because an increase in the consumer income will cause a decrease in quantity demanded and vice versa. So for the answer number 2, we will need to use the formula from the textbook, and we will get the final solution of 2.137. For answer number 3, after we using the information above and use it as a demand curve, we will get inelastic income elasticity, and the type of good that they're using is normal good, for example clothing.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hakimi bin Fadli, and now I will explain about the answer of price elasticity of supply. The answer for question 1 is perfectly inelastic. This is because the shape of supply is vertical supply curve. Suppliers will sell the same number of goods or services regardless of the movement of price, even when price increases from P1 to P2. The answer for number 2 is inelastic. This is because the shape of supply curve is steeper slope of supply curve. The percentage change in price is larger than percentage change in quality supply. The answer for question 3 is unitary elastic. This is because the shapes of supply curve is rectangular hyperbola supply curve. Suppliers respond to an equivalent percentage of change in quantity supplied from Q1 to Q2 as the price change from P1 to P2.